everyone, today we're going to be solving an addition problem, working it out style. Okay, and if you've seen these videos before, you know that I like to tackle a word problem and really walk you through what goes through my mind when I read one. Okay, so here's how I like to start. I like to just read it through once, make sure I understand the problem, what's going on in it, before I start working with the numbers. So this one says that Birdie sells 7 6/10 pounds of peaches at a local market on Monday. On Tuesday, she sells 4.8 or 4 8/10 pounds of peaches at a farm stand. How many total pounds of peaches did she sell? So before I even start working with the numbers, I just kind of think about, okay, so this problem is just kind of setting up this person selling peaches. Sounds like 2 different times. She sells some on Monday and some on Tuesday. And we want to know the total. So already, before I even grab those numbers, I'm thinking that it sounds like addition because I want to know the total. So now I read through the problem again, but this time to do some highlighting. I can also take a closer look at the answer choices too. So it says Birdie sells 7.6 pounds of peaches at a local market on Monday. Okay, so I definitely want to highlight the 7 6/10. Then on Tuesday, she sells 4 8/10. So I'm going to highlight that too. And that's at a farm stand. How many total pounds of peaches did she sell? So I'm going to highlight total also because I really think that helps me to solve it because I know I'm going to add them. All right, and then as I look at the choices, just the fact that I've taken the time to think about this, those answer choices are really going to stand out, I think, to you because some of them don't seem very reasonable if we're going to add. So let's see. A says 2 8/10. B says 12 4/10. C says 3 2/10. And D says 11 4/10. So do you see any choices that we could already be kind of thinking are unreasonable based on the fact that we need to add? Okay, you got it. I think those 2 smaller choices, A and C, don't seem very reasonable because that seems like subtraction. Okay, so now here's what I like to do. I like to move over to a whiteboard because I feel like when I'm looking at a problem on a computer screen, I really need some sort of scratch paper next to me to help me prove my answer and feel really confident about my answer. So you can do that also on a whiteboard or scratch paper. All right, so I went ahead and wrote down our Monday and Tuesday, how many pounds she sold. And then I wanted us to think one more time about what are we going to do with those numbers? Okay, you got it. We're going to add them because we want to know the total pounds that she sold. Okay, so the next thing I always do when I'm adding up any numbers is just double check that everything is lined up correctly. So are my decimal points lined up? Yes, they are. What place are the 6 and the 8 in? Okay, awesome. The 10ths, so those are lined up. What place are the 7 and the 4 in? Good, the 1s, and those are lined up. So it's going to work out perfectly when I add them. Now, if this is something that you need a little bit more support on, that's totally okay. I have a full video on adding whole numbers and decimals. And so, we're practicing a word problem, but if you need to go back and have a full lesson on it, I'll put that down in the description. Okay, so now what is 8 plus 6? Okay, you got it. 14. And then what is 7 plus 4? Okay, 11 plus the 1 is 12. And when we're adding whole numbers and decimals, it's really the same rules, isn't it? The only thing that's a little bit different is what do you think I do with my decimal point? Okay, you bring it right down into the problem. So now this looks like tenths still. These look like whole numbers still. All right, so that means she sold 12 4/10 pounds of peaches. So which answer choice matches? Awesome, B. Great job.